the number that we have took is about the average number that we have found on when we went to India Mart. India Mart, and
Yeah,
we
we are
searched
we
about.
are we are we are aware of India Mart, but the price which I'm giving you is the average price between three manufacturers, which is TVS, Piaggio, and Bajaj.
Okay,
So if you,
that's even well. If the price is higher, this is actually very good for us because
yeah,
it means that we can offer lower prices and higher profits. So
yeah, certainly.
yeah. So this is good. Although I'm not sure in the end we will. At this moment, because of coronavirus and because of the figures, I'm not sure what I see on the e-rickshaw market, that on the electrical rickshaw market in general, uh, you see that 90% of the electrical rickshaws are actually e-rickshaws and not auto rickshaws.
Yeah, very true.
So in the end, there are there are only few players that are focusing on the auto rickshaw, and they are not selling so much. And for many,
No,
many,
I'll make a correction there. The
okay,
market started with the e-rickshaw, which is the L3, as we call it in India,
yeah,
and subsequently people were waiting for the governmental policies. After the government policies were released, people started working on the e-rickshaw. Today, the first people to enter the e-rickshaw, which is the L5 segment as we call it in India, is Mahindra.
hmm,
And after that, they are followed by Bajaj, and they are followed by Piaggio. Piaggio sent something like 300 vehicles. Bajaj has yet to send the vehicle, but they are ready with the vehicle. And I'm told that, even I'm not aware, but TVS and Atul, they are the two manufacturers who are also coming in with the e-rickshaws, which model they is ready with them. So today, if you see the e-mobility in India, when it comes to three-wheelers, 99% or maybe 100% is not wrong to say that it is going to be only the e-rickshaw, which is the L3 segment. Okay?
yes, yes,
Yeah, yeah, they're true.
yeah, yes. It's so when we decided to go ahead, at least for the next 2-3 years, there's a good chance that there will be a huge focus on the e-rickshaw, what we call the L3, and because not many L5 were sold, even before the corona. I think the prices are just much too high, and there is not much demand. What this is. Today I'm going to read in a research. I will later. I just got a research from India, a new research regarding the electrical rickshaw, so I will share it with you later.
Yeah, but
So,
just to clarify again, see, there are two things which are driving even the L5 auto rickshaw in the country. The
mhm,
first is the government policy which says that by 2022 they will stop licensing all three-wheelers with fossil fuel.
yes,
So
okay,
whether it is Piaggio or whether it is Bajaj, everybody will perforce have to go with the electric route, which is what has
yeah,
been designated. Till
yeah,
now, the technology of electric rickshaws was all Chinese driven, where all cheap kind of imports were coming in, and they were tried and tested in the e-rickshaw, not in the e-auto.
yes,
Now, when it comes to e-auto, all the companies who have worked, Bajaj, and TVS, and Piaggio, and even Mahindra, they have come
yeah,
up with their own rickshaws, which has been indigenously made so that the import content for any of the electrical rickshaws from China or dependency on China is practically nil, except for the throttle, the throttle, the electronic throttle which
yeah,
is there.
yeah,
Every other part is local. There is nothing which is imported. So
yeah,
this is the background. So
yeah,
e-rickshaw, whether it is a or a auto e-rickshaw or a e-auto, Both of them have a tremendous potential in the country because the market in India alone stands in excess of 13 lakhs. 13 lakhs is what 1.3 million vehicles per annum. This is the market.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, this is good news for us in any case.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it is good news for us. Yes.
Yeah. Now, regarding the L5 range, actually, maybe you've seen a different presentation because what we said there, it's above 200 or above. You say the L5 electric, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Or okay, the L5 electric is okay. The L5 electric because the L5 I cannot call it L5. You know, the fossil one is again obviously can go above 200 kilometers. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
the parallel, the L5, the electric one, in the presentation, you're talking about the competitors, what they have if it's above 100 kilometers.
No, 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 no. See, what I am coming to is in India when they brought the L3 vehicles, okay, they were by lead acid batteries
Yeah.
and the
Okay.
lithium phosphate and lithium ion they came subsequently.
Yeah.
Now, lead acid batteries were at whatever efficiency, not giving them more than 70 to 80 kilometers per charge of running and a charging
Yes.
time of about 8 hours, right?
Yes. Yes.
So in India, per force, there was a permission which was granted to these e-rickshaws to there were routes which are defined 5 kilometer range from point A to point B is 5 kilometers. This fellow goes, drives the rickshaw from point A to point B, and he returns back. And he does that for so many rounds to complete that 70, 80, and then he goes for charging. Now, our survey, I have done an extensive survey in the country in various parts, including Chennai and Pune and Delhi and Chandigarh and what have you. We
Hmm.
have come to a decision that for an L5, the average distance which is traveled by an auto rickshaw per day is 120 kilometers. Now,
Yes. Correct.
for us to, let's say I have stay in a city which is called Pune, in which a diesel auto or a petrol auto, which is a fossil auto, will stand at the, let's say, the railway station, and I fly out and I sit in the rickshaw and I tell him to take me home, which is say 15 kilometers away, right? Now, this
Yeah.
kind of a permission exists for a L5, but for an L3 today in electric, they don't give this kind of a permission simply because there is always a problem that your drive range is only 80 kilometers.
Yeah.
Now, when I do 120 or 150 kilometers per charge, I am in a position to get a permission to fly in the city like I can fly with a fossil auto, a diesel or a petrol or a
Yes.
CNG
Yes.
auto, right?
Yes.
So that was the idea where we were saying as to why it is so important for us to ensure that we get the range of a minimum of 120 kilometers per charge.
Yes, but we will get there for sure. We can go double from that. That's not the issue.
Okay, perfect.
I'm saying, but the current, for example, Mahindra Trio cannot go to above 100. For example, they say
Yeah,
they can. They officially say they can. But
yeah.
I just talked last week with Mahindra Mahindra Electric deputy CEO, and he
Hmm.
admits personally we cannot go above 100. He admits, that's it's an electrical fact. If your maximum speed is 45 kilometers per hour, and
Hmm.
your maximum and your straining the motor to its maximum, which is 5.4 kilowatts, and the
Hmm.
battery is only 7.4 kilowatts hour, you
Hmm.
cannot go above 100 kilometers. It's not possible. Your battery is too low. Uh, so he admits. So I can tell you that currently, all of the auto rickshaw that I know or e-rickshaw are below 100. They cannot reach 100, but we can.
Okay, that's great.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, Now, regarding the third point,
Yes.
uh, which is um, talking about, which is about the same. Okay, talking about the same. You're talking about our motor, the 1.5.
Yes. See, our what I am trying to tell you here is we are using for an L3 a 1.5 kilowatt motor. And why I use a 1.5 kilowatt motor is because if I want to have the gradability of say 12 degrees or 12%, then I need that kind of a wheel and torque, which is a minimum of 40 Newton meters per wheel of the rear. So 40 Newton meters per wheel means 80 Newton meters, which is the wheel and torque or at the gearbox end. And if I take the ratio of 1 is to 10 of the gearbox, which is what we have currently, in your case, there
Yeah.
is no gearbox in any case. But here, if I take a reduction of 1 is to 10, then what it means is I need a torque of at least 8 Newton meters, which is the motor end torque. So
I
what I am,
understand.
yeah, now my motor end torque, if it is 8 Newton meters, I am, how do we say, okay with the kind of gradability which is required. But normally in 1.5 Newton meter motor, which I have mentioned uh, ahead, I don't get the torque of 8 Newton meters. Plus, in your condition where you mentioned that there is no gearbox, how do you take care of the reduction is what is my query.
I'm sure that you understand that at this stage, we will not go deeply inside to the technology.
Yeah, yeah, true,
Um,
true, true,
um,
true.
uh, um, your, I'm totally understanding your questions. They are in the correct position, right? But the thing is, the currently electrical systems are using transmissions, and they are
Hmm.
using specific motors based on these mechanical transmissions and gear. And uh, we are we have a totally different proprietary system. So what I can tell you that we use motor that the power consumption will be less than 1,000, uh, and the torque will be very high, and
Okay.
uh, and um, because because of the weight of the vehicle will
Hmm.
be very low, you just don't need enough a lot of force. Thus, you don't need a lot of energy. And you're correct.
Okay,
When
okay,
you're
okay.
using,
My only simple question here is very simple. I don't need your to understand the technology part of it, which you are right. I mean, you are entitled. At this stage, it is not done. All I want
yeah,
to know is, uh, A, do you have a differential? Because the whatever is the motor you use, do you have a hub motor, or if you have a regular motor, then there has to
uh,
be a differential because.
again, at this, we will need to see how we can pass this sensitive information, because you're
Hmm,
talking about issues, if it has a differential or not, how many motors we use, what is the exact, we can say that we are
hmm,
using. What we
hmm.
can say at this point, and I hopefully that you humbly, humbly
I
understand that,
understand. Yeah, 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 yeah. Sure,
that
sure.
uh, but just to give you the facts, when you need to move a rickshaw, which is let's say you have one driver in a rickshaw, which is about 400 to 500 kilos.
Hmm.
Forget about the load and the other, just to try to calculate something. Our rickshaw is made from carbon. Okay, it's natural carbon, but it's a kind of carbon. So the rickshaw itself weight less than 100 kilos. With the
Okay.
driver and the battery is about, let's say, 150, 200 kilos. It's less than half. It is less than half or even one third of a rickshaw with people. So the energy that you will need to use is a much less. On top of that, and this is talking about just mass and energy, okay? This is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that we do is instead of using uh, like in an auto rickshaw, when they use 5.4 kilowatts, we use power consumption which is less than 1 kilowatts. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about the torque. It's not a 8 Newton meter torque. We're talking about the torque, which is 60, 90. We can actually go to up to 120, but the motors are very strong. So yes, it could be gearless. It has another advantage that we will talk later, but we're using, compared to auto rickshaw, and let's take Mahindra Trio, for example, that is
Mm-hmm.
using lithium-ion batteries, which is then we also use lithium-ion batteries. The comparison is easy because their rickshaw, together with two people and a battery, is about almost it's about half a ton, okay?
Mm.
And our rickshaw, together with two people and the battery, will be about, I don't know, 150, maybe a little bit more, 175. It will be more, less than half. So if we talk about the weight, it will be less than half. So we will need less energy. But this is on the mass per energy. Regarding the power consumption, on the maximum power consumption, maximum power consumption of Mahindra Trio is 5.4 kilowatts with a
Mm. Mm.
7.4 battery. So they will never.
Battery. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they have on their catalog. The auto rickshaw with the 45 kilometers per hour maximum.
Mm.
They say that they can travel above 130 because they want to be in the certification allowed. But actually, they even say that their maximum is 170, but it's not true, and they cannot, because of their motor and because of their battery. Forget, just put aside the mass, for example, but
Mm.
what they do, they cannot go above 70, 80 kilometers. And even, as I told you before, the deputy CEO of Mahindra Electric admit that.
Mm.
And actually, we have a talk, a very interesting talk. He was willing to, after we sent some, MOU drafts, he's willing to pass the exact, he didn't ask for our exact specification, but he wanted to actually give his sensitive information, so we can say, yes, we can counter that, yes, we can counter that, yes, we can do that. So then we can proceed further. But in any case, so on the mass energy, we are better. On the power consumption, our maximum, let's say it's not the maximum, but it's the working power consumption will be 1,000 and even less. So it's one fifth. It's one fifth of, and if it will be a steady road, flat road, flat plane, it will be even close to 500. But in any case, it will be a lot less than the 5.4 kilowatts of Mahindra Trio. So one fifth of the power consumption means we can go a lot about the range. Um, and for
Yeah,
that, if we go,
see, if you ask me personally,
yeah,
uh, you definitely have very high and efficient motors where the parameters are totally different. But if you see what Treo does, or for that matter, anybody in the country does, we have 5 or 6 parameters which will define the range or maybe the make or break of the project. The first thing that we do is we have the battery, 48 volts, 150 amperes, or whatever. The second parameter which we have is the gear ratios, because all the vehicles which are available here are geared vehicles. Okay, so if I have a 1 is to 10 gearbox ratio, or 1 is to 5, or maybe 1 is to 16, then accordingly quite a few things change. The third thing which we have is obviously the kilowatt rating of the motor. The fourth
yeah,
thing which we try to do is try to do something with the the diameter of the wheels which is available. I can
yeah,
use a 8-inch wheel, I can use a 10-inch wheel, I can use a 12-inch wheel.
yeah.
Now, when I do a selection with these 5 parameters, I am in a position with the, obviously with the current motors available in the country, where if
Mm-hmm,
I say that my system voltage is 48, my wheel and torque which I require is 42 Newton meters, the distance which I want to travel is 150 kilometers, the maximum speed which I want is not in excess of 50 kilometers per hour, the
mm-hmm,
maximum motor which I will take is a 4 kilowatt motor, or maybe a 3 kilowatt motor with a maximum RPM of 4500. The wheel which I select is probably a 13-inch wheel. I go with a gearbox reduction ratio of 1 is to 0.8, and with my battery of 150 amperes, 48 volt 150 amps hour, I am able to do. I can travel a distance of, theoretically, a distance of about 145 kilometers. Now, typically when the weight which I am talking about, obviously your technology is far superior, but with whatever conventional technology is available in the country, the curb weight is not in excess of say 300 315 kgs, and the vehicle is designed to carry 3 passengers plus 1 driver. Now this
yeah.
kind of
That's
a, yeah, this is what Mahindra is doing. From all the testing that we did on the Mahindra vehicles and whatever they have specified, I mean, they are not even coming close to whatever they are claiming, that it will do 100
I know,
kilometer,
I know, I
120.
know, I
Yes,
know. They actually admit that. You know, it's,
yeah, but we have protos, we have made it with all these theoretical calculations,
yeah,
and we are able to achieve 140 kilometers with one charge of the vehicle, and these 140 kilometers we are able to do with a 150 ampere hour battery. So 150 ampere hours is because I want to fit in the price bracket, otherwise I exceed the price bracket. People are going to buy value for money. So
yeah,
if I was to benchmark my vehicles at the Mahindra price, I am able to give them a 150 ampere hour battery with 10% guarantee that you can do 130 to 140 kilometers per charge as running.
yeah,
So
yeah, and
what I was trying to tell you was, there are 5 6 parameters which actually you have to do a proper selection so that you can come to an optimum product.
yeah. But
Uh, uh,
what
uh, uh,
again? I see the so that I'm entering. I hope it's okay. I'm entering your
no, it's
words.
okay. Okay, please.
Okay, okay. Um, there is a solution. Yes, you can come to. You can use the current technologies that are in the market and make an electrical vehicle that will pass. Although we are, talking all the time on the L5, which frankly will not sell much this year and also not next year. At least when we are talking, when we're looking at 2017, 2018, 2019, the last 3 years, more than 90% or even 95% of the, even more than 95% were e-rickshaw and not auto rickshaw. But in
Yeah,
any case, to pass the 100 and 120, 130 range, yes, it is possible with the current technologies to do that, but at a huge cost, as you said. Uh, 150 48 volts, it's above 7 kilowatts hour battery. This is a huge lithium ion battery.
yeah,
Huge.
7.2 kilowatt. Yeah,
Yeah, it's huge and it's very expensive. I'm not talking about the the subsidies that then the if there will be, after the COVID-19, you know, uh, uh, frankly, the current initiative of subsidizing batteries, that's a great thing that the Indian government is doing. But frankly, the number one priority right now is how to fight the COVID-19.
yes.
So, I'm not sure that the subsidies will stay the same. Declaration, yes. Action on the field, let us be, when we need to think about not the best case scenario only, also for the worst case scenario. And the worst case scenario is the government will say, look, yes, we are really encouraging electrical vehicles, but, there is COVID-19. So, but in any case, yes, using all technologies, current technologies, to solve the range issue is possible, but with a huge price. As you said, just the battery itself will cost
A
more
lakh and
than,
10,000.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So we have another solution, and this will not need a huge motor. It will not need a huge battery, and it will use, because what you say when you calculate right now, you calculate by using the current technologies, and the current technologies, I admit, it's a problem, and it will be close to 3,500 or even $4,000 vehicle
Hmm. Hmm.
if we do that. And frankly, not many people will buy it. Not many people will buy it because there are gasoline rickshaws that are less than that. And if in the end your battery will be very big and your battery will be
Hello.
to, yeah, it will be very expensive. Again, it's an issue. So I can promise you, it's not something. It is something that we are doing actually on two-wheelers and three-wheelers, that we do it like in electrical bicycles and electrical motorcycles and electrical scooters. The motors are very efficient, very small weight, very low power consumption, but with very high torque, because we
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
have a transmission system
What
in a
what
motorcycle.
what is your proposal of the battery size to be factored for the L5? Say for
We we
example,
need
I'm
we need less we need less than 3 kilowatts hour battery in any case.
oh, that is really efficient because we are talking about 7.2 kilowatt here. So three is
Yes,
all
I know, I
practically
know,
what about
I know,
60
I know.
kilowatt.
And
Hmm.
and no, as I told you, there are two reasons for that. One
Hmm.
is, and both are, even if it's mathematically speaking, but both are understandable. If I no forget that it's bamboo, okay? Because we call it, as we have a sexy word for it. We call it natural carbon composite, okay?
Fiber. Yeah,
But it's a
yeah,
kind of a carbon, okay? If we
yeah.
have
It
a
is.
very
Yeah.
lightweight vehicle, Okay, if we have a very light vehicle, reducing the weight will reduce tremendously the force that you need, or the energy, or the life, or the battery size, or the motor size. You know, people say, but and then you said, yes, but we are adding people, so you know, you still need it still weight more. And I said, it in any case, it will the amount of the weight that we are reducing, as if the rickshaw is empty. Okay, it's something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And surely you understand that if the rickshaw is empty, or if the rickshaw have 4 people inside, the rickshaw is behaving totally different.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
certainly. Yeah.
so we are reducing the weight. It's like saying we are reducing 4 people. It's like the rickshaw is driving without any people inside. Okay, so this will
Exactly. Yes.
reduce. This is only one part. The other part is the power consumption of the electrical system itself.
Mm.
Currently, to reach to speeds like auto rickshaw needs, they put 4, 5, 6 kilowatts motor, and that he is a huge power consumption. I'm not even
Mm.
talking about the transmission. The transmission is maybe taking the torque higher,
Yeah.
but the transmission is doing something else. It is reducing the efficiency of the system, because it's
Yeah,
not a
certainly.
direct. Yeah, so you're wasting a lot of energy on the mechanical transition. So talking about, so we didn't even talk about efficiency at all. This is, I think, the first time that we're talking about. But what's good about electrical motor efficiency, on the opposite of an ICE, in the internal combustion engine motor engine, is that the efficiency of internal combustion engine is less than 50%, and
Yeah.
the original efficiency of an electrical motor is very high. It's above 95%, because it's not
Yeah,
heating.
certainly.
But
Yeah, yeah.
you're doing a very cruel thing to this system if you're putting a transmission, because then you divide the power, and you're losing a lot of efficiency regarding when you're using a transmission. So if we're talking, there are 3 issues here. We are reducing the weight. It's like an empty, because the chassis and the shell will be very lightweight. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
carbon. Okay, so we will reduce, I don't know, 200, 300 from the original
Wait.
weight of
Yeah.
the, yeah,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
a lot, a lot, a lot. And the
Yes.
second issue is the electrical power consumption, which will be a lot less, again, compared to Mahindra auto rickshaw, because in order to get high speeds, not talking about e-rickshaw, I'm talking about auto rickshaw. You cannot put a regular 1 kilowatts motor. You need something more for the high
Mm-hmm.
speeds. But we are doing something that we can use these brushless motors um, at high speed, low power consumption. So low power consumption will help us to expand the range. And there is since we are not using transmission, the efficiency will remain very high, which is very important. Uh, Okay, so I hope it's enough to clarify. I think it's both.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, essentially, you are counting on two things. One is the lower weight of the vehicle per se, vis-a-vis the steel construction, which is maybe 100 kgs against the 300, 350 kgs which is there.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
second, which you rightly said, was the efficiency of your entire electrical system with a
yeah,
gearless system, such that the
yeah,
losses in the gearbox are are eliminated, and the efficiency of the electrical system is so high that you
Yes.
are able to get 95% or equivalent to that. Hence,
Yeah.
the requirement on the motor wattage is lower, and the motor is much more efficient to provide you the required torque so that it is able to, how do we say, go up the gradients and come down the gradients and
Yeah.
everything. I
Yeah.
got your point. Yes.
Okay, so it's actually covering regarding wheels. I can tell you that, for example, we prefer higher size wheel from two reasons. And it doesn't matter what is the exact size, but the higher the wheel size, actually on the same energy, you can travel longer. Okay,
Yeah.
because
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
this is one thing, but something that maybe is not well understood, especially when you have very hard road condition in India. If you have a
Hmm.
small wheel and you have a wall and you have a hole on it or a big crack on the road, you can break your axle if it's a small wheel. If it's a larger wheel, you can actually gap and not enter the hole
Hmm.
if the wheel size is big enough. So
Yeah. So what is
there's
the wheel? What is the wheel size that you recommend?
well, actually, we recommend a wheel size around the motorcycle wheel, which is about 26, 24 inch, which
Hmm.
is totally not the standard, small golf cart wheels that you have currently that are very heavy.
Hmm.
Um, but again, as higher the diameter of the longer the diameter of the wheel will be, the efficiency of the system to reach in a specific velocity and longer range is the longer diameter of the wheel. And also, again, regarding the hard road conditions in India, smaller wheels are not good. Um,
Hmm.
they don't contribute to the convenience of the road, of the trip, of the traveling, and they are not good. They are also very heavy, by the way.
Okay.
Um, Hello?
Yeah. Point well
Oh,
taken. Yes. Point well
okay.
taken.
Okay. Now for so again we talked about a little bit also on point six and then on also I think on point seven. I think on point eight I think we are now regarding the cost per kilometer. Um, well, the cost per kilometer is actually calculated by the cost of the purchasing of the vehicle, which is normally right now is, for example, if you buy a Mahindra Trio rickshaw, you will pay $3,000 and you will travel about 70, 80 kilometers. And after 1 or 2 years, you will need to replace the lead acid, the not lead acid, sorry, the lithium batteries. Yes, they theoretically should um, should stay. You could still could use them for 3 years, but actually, we're talking about Indian temperature, which is the average working temperature. It is double what is recommended for a lithium-ion battery. Uh, Lithium-ion battery normally can do 800 to 700 cycles, charge, discharge, on an ideal working temperature between 15 to 20 degrees, which you can find easily in Europe. But in India, it's about 30 to 40 degrees, which is double that. And lithium-ion battery will not last so long. So
But what
when
about
you think,
lithium phosphate?
um, there depends, there are. we know about
See, where I'm coming from is, in India, you are able to get a warranty on the battery for 3 years. If you negotiate well, it can be 4 years. Now,
yeah,
when I talk about a battery giving a warranty, I know that for the lithium ion they don't give anything beyond 2 years. But
yeah,
for a lithium phosphate, these people are prepared to give you a warranty of 4 years, where the only thing which they claim is after say 2.5 years, the efficiency of the battery, which is 100%, will drop down to as low as 80%, not below that.
yeah.
The you
Well,
know the charge carrying capacity from 100% it goes down to 80%. That is true. And of course, in India, there is a cutoff at 20%. So you can't drain the battery 100%. The BMS will automatically cut off the battery at 20% charge when it is remaining. So
yeah,
effectively, you will be, instead of running for 80%, you will be running it only for say 60%. But then everybody stands by it and says that 4 years warranty is something which they give you for a lithium phosphate.
yeah. Well, the problem is the lithium phosphate, and again the current lithium ion batteries technology. Yes, they can last a little bit longer. Well, there are two issues, and in the lithium ion batteries, which one is the deep charging and discharging algorithm that is done, and the other one is the high temperature that these batteries need to work. Um, this and you already said that even if you use lithium phosphate, the problem is that it reduces the energy, and again, you don't want to charge it to the maximum because you will also make it faster to die, the battery. Um, so you're also shortening your range. And we have another technology, which is a kind of a hybrid battery. And but what we can offer a life cycle that is about 2,000 life cycles very easily,
Hmm.
which is and it is specifically something that we are considering to a technology that is um, um, targeted to work in high temperatures like in Africa and India, on an average working temperature of 40 degrees, which is double than a normal lithium ion battery standard.
Yeah,
So
but see, just adding to where you left, if today I have got an Indian vehicle which is giving me an average of say 100 kilometers per charge, and I use an X battery, and if I use your vehicle where it is giving me say 200 rupees per charge, then automatically for the same distance traveled, my number of cycles of charging discharging come to half, right? So for example, with this, the Indian battery, lithium ion or lithium phosphate, I'll be charging it from 0 to 100 after every 100 kilometers. In your technology, probably I'll be charging it after 200 kilometers. So the number of charge discharge cycles practically come to half. So if today I am
yes,
saying that 300 working days people are working, and they are generally doing something like 300 to 400 charges every year,
yeah,
okay, and that means in 2 years they have practically done say 400 charges, 800 charges. So that is the time when probably the battery changes. But with your technology of the electrical system, after the end of 2 years, I will have done only 200 charges. So probably my battery life will extend up to say 3 or 4 years, which is again an advantage over the conventional
Yes,
technologies which are available in
it
the
will
country.
be. It will be. It will be at least double than what it's now in the market. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
And
this point is well taken. So we appreciate
yes.
that. So everything depends on the efficiency of the electrical system. We are very clear on that. Let's go ahead.
Well,
No problem.
actually, everything depends on four technologies, if we can say. One is the weight, the technology that is reducing the weight.
Hmm.
The second technology that is having a very efficient electrical system. The
Hmm.
fourth is the charging system, which we just a little bit forgot, but the charging system, that we have our own algorithm of charging and discharging, which is will not reach at any time the maximum of minimum or maximum. We are also offering an add-on that the charging will be done from the sun. And last that I heard, you don't pay for the charging. Because we are used to use solar cells that are produced in the United States and in Germany and in Austria, when we can reach up to 25% efficiency. Um, I really hope that we can find these cells also in India, because if your solar panel is 15% efficiency or 25, that's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Uh, Especially because we're talking about cost per mileage, and we want
Hmm.
people to charge as much as possible by the sun, because you have a lot of sunny days. And even last week, when you have you have the cyclone. Yes, okay, on the cyclone or on monsoon rains, you don't have sunny days, but no one is in a cyclone. No one is driving his rickshaw, right? Um, so you drive your rickshaw on roads, mostly not in sunny days. So it is important, because by this third technology, by charging from the sun, we are reducing the cost of charging to actually to zero. Frankly, we're not paying for the charging. And the
Hmm.
fourth technology is the battery technology that allows us to have the basic battery without any charging, discharging issues. The basic battery could last up to 2,000 cycles, which is 3 times more than a regular lithium-ion battery. And it's also naturally can withstand an average of 40 degrees temperature without a cooling system. Okay.
That's great.
So these four, this is what I'm saying all the time. What we're saying is we are a technology, and this technology could be implemented now in e-rickshaw, next in two-wheelers, then in quadricycle. Doesn't matter. These are technologies that we can implement in. I was actually just last week. Um, I was approached by a company that is manufacturing not solar, charging station. And look, could you transform our charging station to solar ones? Uh, because we are paying a lot of electricity to the government, and then the charging is above 10 rupees per kilowatts hour because of that.
Hmm.
And this
Yeah.
is so the technologies could reach a lot of opportunities, a lot of potential there. Yes. So I think um we talked about all the points. Or
Yes,
if
we
you have.
do.
Okay.
I have only one question.
Yes.
The point number 8. Uh, when we are talking about the running cost per kilometer for a petrol or a diesel or an electric vehicle.
Yeah.
I remember in the last discussion you mentioned that practically it is the same, which is what my point eight is. Typically, if you see in
Well,
India, with my conventional technologies, I am running a vehicle at say half a rupee, okay, and an electric vehicle, a 40 paisa or 38 paisa or maybe a 50 paisa, which is half a rupee. Whereas when I use a fossil vehicle, it is anywhere between 2 to 2.5 rupees. So it is about 5 times, 4 to 5 times.
yeah, but what
So
you're saying right now, I don't know how you calculate what you said about electric, because I will send you later three researchers that is done in India, including a lot of numbers inside. I didn't go deeply, but they're talking about that it's actually, although they are not talking about, I think they are not talking about battery replacements and temperature problems specifically in India, but they
hmm,
are talking about that the electric ones are 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 not close to what you said. It's about the same. And if you add, and they didn't add in the research, I will send you the research later. You know what?
yeah, you can,
Again,
because you know it is when it comes to the cost of the vehicle. I agree with you that the cost of an electric vehicle probably is higher vis-a-vis a fossil
yeah,
or a diesel vehicle or a fuel. I agree with that.
yeah,
But when
yeah,
it comes to the cost of running, see, otherwise, what the government here is trying to do is by giving subsidies on the vehicles which are electrical vehicles, they are trying to offset the extra cost of manufacturing of the vehicle compared to a diesel or a fossil vehicle. Okay,
yeah,
because they are very clear that the profile of the people who are buying the vehicle, they have a lot of they are poor people, so they have a lot of cash crunch. To make it lucrative for them, they are trying to give subsidies on the vehicle so that the vehicle can be purchased. But once the vehicle is purchased, these gentlemen are very clear that the cost of running, if the parameters or the costs which the government has fixed per kilometer are the same, then the earnings for an electrical vehicle are way higher vis-a-vis the diesel or fossil vehicle. This is what I tried to show in the point 8 there. And in any case, in my the business case, I sent a file which is called TCO. TCO is total cost of ownership. Now, this total cost is exactly what you have been trying to say is when I buy the vehicle after 5 years, how much I have earned and how much is the investment which I have done. If I take a total of that, it becomes what is called as a TCO. Now, even
yeah.
on the TCO, it is extremely clear that the fossil vehicle is nowhere near, is just nowhere near an EV, an electrical vehicle.
Yeah,
So when it comes,
let me talk about that.
hmm,
You're comparing fueling to charging. I understand.
exactly, yeah,
I understand. But
hmm,
what you're forgetting is that um, in uh, every car needs every vehicle needs maintenance. Okay, forget that. Okay, but with electrical vehicles, yes, you have mechanical parts. You need to change all the. But in electrical vehicles, you need to change if it's a, let's say it's a very low cost lead acid battery. You need to
yeah. But
replace the
we are not
battery.
talking about lead. See, we are not talking here about lead acid. That is a
Okay,
bygone
lithium.
technology. It is out.
Okay, okay,
Let's talk
okay.
about the lithium ion
It's
which you said. Now we
okay.
just
Lithium.
discussed.
First, um, it's not a technology that is out of the business, because most of the e-rickshaw are most of the electrical rickshaw in the market, and most of them are using lead acid. So it's a technology that is commonly used because it's a very low cost battery. But on the other hand, you really need to replace every few months the battery. Now, lithium battery,
Sir,
yeah,
I'll just
Totally agree.
clarify it. So, because I am in the market, I can tell you
yeah,
a 48 volts 80 ampere hour battery in lead acid in India
yeah,
will be costing you 24 to 25,000 rupees. Okay,
yeah, yeah,
the same 48 volts into 80 ampere hour battery in lithium phosphate is costing you 55,000 rupees, which is practically double. Okay,
yes,
but every 4 months or 5 months you have to throw this battery, which is the lead acid battery. While the lithium ion battery you can conventionally use for 3 years.
yeah.
So if I was using a 25,000 lead acid battery, by the end of 3 years, I would have had to replace it 6 times. So I would have paid a cost of 150,000 rupees against 50,000 to 55,000 rupees of a lithium phosphate. That is one.
Oh,
The
okay.
point number two is you are aware that in lead acid the Perukit factor is 0.5. So the efficiency of the lead acid battery, if it travels say 100 kilometers in a 48 volt 80 ampere hour, the same distance can be traveled because the Perukit factor here is 1 in lithium phosphate. It will travel in 40 ampere hour battery. So
I, I, I totally agree. I totally agree. But what I'm saying is, when you look at fueling, okay, compared to charging, with fueling you don't need to change every 2 years the fuel tank, okay, and in a electrical lithium powered vehicle, you need to replace the fuel tank.
sir, your point well taken. Now just hear me
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
For every kilometer that I run on electric, okay, my charge is let's say 50 paisa. For
yeah,
every kilometer that I run with the fossil, my charge is 2 rupees 50 paisa.
yeah,
So there is a delta of 2 rupees between electrical and diesel or petrol.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Now even assume that I am doing only 100 kilometers a day. So
Hmm.
100 kilometers a day, if I travel for 1 year at 100 kilometers a day, that is 300 days, then I am doing how much? 300 into 100, which is about 30,000 kilometers. So the cost which I save just by going electric is 60,000 rupees. Now the battery itself is 55,000 rupees and it goes on
Hmm.
for at least 3 years. So
Yeah.
per year I am saving 60,000 rupees. By the end of the third year, I would have saved 1,80,000 rupees. In which case, if I have to change the battery, it is still very, very, very economical.
Okay. Okay.
So the
Again, on running cost, again, I totally agree with you. Actually, we're not arguing. It's
we
good
are
for
not
us
arguing.
that, well,
No,
it's good for us that,
you see, last time you mentioned that the running cost probably is the same. I was trying to figure out what is making it the same when all
well,
calculations indicate that it is cheaper.
I will give you, as I told you, I will give you the researches that I didn't do. Famous institute in India has done so. So I will send you
Okay.
the calculation. I think it was well above only the running costs. But
Hmm.
again, I will send you the research.
Yeah, please.
And
I would love to
yeah,
have those because for the simple reason. See, in a fossil vehicle, you have maybe more than 3,000 parts which are how do we say moving. You have
yeah,
the engine, you have this, you have the gearbox. Everything is
yeah,
shifting, moving, wear and tear, and so the maintenance there is let's say a cost of X. When
yeah,
I shift to a motor or an electrical vehicle, there is
yeah,
no moving part except that the rotor in the motor is moving. That's it.
yeah,
So even if I take an annual maintenance, sir, one of the reasons which was a big problem for me when I marketed this electricals in India was what is the extra income which I give to my dealer? A
Yeah.
dealership is not surviving only on selling of the vehicles and taking a a dealer margin. They have to survive by doing a surveys, by doing spare parts, by doing blah blah blah, whatever.
Yeah.
Now, when there is so little maintenance on a electrical vehicle, what can go wrong is probably your motor has failed, or I don't know what, which is replaced. Then you do another 20,000 kilometers. There is no problem. There are bearings, yes. All the bearings are sealed bearings, which you are tamper-proof for say 100,000 kilometers. You don't have to touch them. So the cost of maintenance of a fossil vehicle is, according to me, at least 4 times higher vis-a-vis
Yeah.
electrical vehicle, because there is nothing else to how do we say, replace or to maintain. That is the
I
issue.
agree. I agree. I agree.
Yes.
Okay, so I will send by email. Do you prefer by email that I will send the results?
Yeah, yeah, it will be a
Okay.
pleasure, sir.
Yeah.
Whatever way it is, I would love to go through that study as to understand how people are comparing electric with a fossil and saying that the costs are practically the same. Yes, I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah. Well, in any case, we are in a better situation. So
Yeah,
let me summarize. First, it was a very interesting talk. Very.
yeah,
I can talk with you for a complete day. I'm not sure that all the gentlemen in this talk, you know,
yeah.
we're because
Yeah,
we're technical guys and
yeah,
we
and we
love
have
to
we
talk.
have we have been in this field, and we have a at least I have a passion for the electrical vehicles. Although the knowledge may be much lower than what uh, engineering and knowledge you have there, but
Yeah.
the passion remains the
Yeah.
same.
Well, I can say that my passion is yes, I'm a environmental freak. You know, I like the environment, and I really want to have clear sky. When I visit India, I want to see clear sky even in the cities.
Yeah, yeah,
And if the rickshaw will continue to be gasoline one, I will not see clear sky. So
yeah,
this is, I think, that the best thing that Corona has done. You know, people understand that if everyone goes electric, they really will see and breathe clear sky. Um, but it's also my passion that people will have practical transportation, because currently the electrical, even if it is so that is not average, it's not the same, and running costs are on an electrical rickshaw as low is lower. We really need to ensure that, because currently either the range is too short, or you don't lose money on the charging, so you use money when you're just waiting and charging.